Hey, what's up, Street Talk? This is Eric Kim from the Eric Kim Street Photography blog. So I'm in Tilburg right now at my boy Charlie Atkinson's house. It's you know, it's in the Netherlands, but it's about an hour south of Amsterdam. So it's a little bit difficult to get up to the city, but still a really cool place. Maybe I'll give you guys a quick tour of the place. Oh, yeah, actually not much to see. Actually, but the crazy thing that is, it's like a three-story bedroom, three-story house, and it's just massive. And Charlie's been a great mate, letting me stay here. I wanted to do a quick review of the new toy that I have. Dun, 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 dun. For you guys may not know, this is the Leica MP. It's Leica's most recent film camera. MP stands for mechanical perfection, which is quite. Um, I won't say anything about it. But anyways, it's got a nice swing to it. Um, you know, this is the camera that I just got from Bellamy Hunt, aka Japan Camera Hunter. Thanks a lot, Bellamy. And this is my old beast, the Leica M6. Both film cameras. So, I do a lot of these blog posts about, not falling to gas, gear acquisition syndrome, not just buying gear for the sake of buying gear. So, Eric, why are you such a hypocrite in buying all these new cameras, and why do you get an MP if your M6 is totally fine? So I'll just kind of tell you the story. So, first of all, like M6, phenomenal camera, really, really solid. It was a camera that, I shot with several months in it. The problem with the M6 was that, I think it was just the M6 that I had, is that it failed on me at least 2 or 3 times when I was traveling. The first time I was in, or this was before I was traveling, I was in Los Angeles, and I would click, rewind, click, rewind, click, rewind, click, rewind, and the problem was, by the time my shutter got to around 20 shots, it would actually jam on me, and I'm like, this is weird. And so what I did was I sent it in, got it fixed, and I went traveling again. Happened to me again. When I went back home, I got it fixed again. And when I was in Melbourne, it actually jammed. It started doing the same problem on me for the third time. Eventually, I found out. So before they just the guy who fixed my camera. So apparently, something the meter was getting jammed with the shutter advance. However, there was a second problem that I didn't know, was that one of the washers in here was a little too old and it got really tight, so it continually was jamming, and then they fixed that. But considering that I'm traveling maybe 3 weeks out of every month, I think that it's really important for me to have a backup, and thus getting the MP, because both cameras are pretty much the same camera, except the MP is newer. The MP was, I think, it got started produced in the 2000s, whereas this M6 is actually the older model. It's got the big M6, not the Leica M6. It's just an older model. So I think this was probably made the same year I was born. I think this is made in 1988, late 1980s. And once again, this is just newer. So for those of you guys out there who may be interested in buying a film camera, should I buy the MP or the M6? So for 99% of people out there, I highly recommend the M6. So the only differences between the M6 and the MP are mostly cosmetic, and just a few things I'll show. So the first difference is, with the M6, you have the shutter advance that looks like this, whereas with the MP, it's actually like the older M3s and the M2s, where it's actually made out of brass or metal. I'm not sure what's made of, but this one, it's got a little piece of plastic. So honestly, I think the M6 is actually a lot easier to advance the film, because sometimes the metal here kind of scratches my fingers, but apparently the metal is supposed to be more durable. Second thing you'll notice is that if you finish shooting, to rewind the film with M6, you just pop out this little thing right here, and of course you release it right here. And if you want to rewind it, you just rewind it here really quick. So you could actually rewind your film really quickly, whereas with the MP, you know, same thing, just release it here. But for the MP, you actually had to pull out this little dual key, and you have to turn it like this, and it's a lot slower. But from what I've heard from Leica, the reason why they added the old style M3 or the M2 rewind knob is that it's got fewer mechanical parts and it's all straight, whereas with this piece it comes at an angle. You can see it comes at an angle, so it's actually more mechanically sound, and I think that's the reason why my M6 got jammed, because the thing was at an angle. Other small things, you know, cosmetically, I think the M6 was made out of magnesium, so just the finish is a little different, whereas the MP, it's made out of brass, and it's, you know, coated with black paint. If you compare the weight of both cameras, the MP is actually considerably heavier because it is made out of brass. So another point for the M6 is that it's just easier, and it's just lighter, easier to carry around. You know, other small cosmetic or small differences in the back. Just the way you adjust the ISO, the backs look different. Doesn't really make much of a difference. Also, another thing that actually is an improvement in the MP is that the viewfinder is actually a lot brighter. Not that much brighter, but brighter than that of the M6, so it's a little bit easier to see the scene. Also, with the M6s, apparently there was an issue that if you're shooting into the sun or at a weird angle and there's some reflection, it's actually hard to see the rangefinder patch because of the coating or whatever. But apparently with MP, you can kind of see it. There's that like blue tinge in the window and stuff like that. Apparently that got rid of that issue of the reflections. What else do I need to talk about? Yeah, so essentially, if you're shooting street photography and you're interested in buying a Leica, honestly, unless you have the money and if you just want to buy the MP, I mean, sure, go ahead, buy the MP. But if you're more on a budget and you really want to try a rangefinder, a film rangefinder, I highly recommend the M6. And of course, there's a lot of other film rangefinders out there. The Bessas, the Zeiss makes one. They're all good, but I mean, for me personally, I think the M6 I just prefer the most because it's just, in terms of just the simplicity of it, the size, and how it's, it hasn't really changed much in terms of the design for over 100 years. Not over 100 years, about 100 years, which means I think they did it right. If you see, I only have one lens. So, I always say, if you're shooting street photography, one camera, one lens. And I think it's important to just stay consistent. I mean, the bodies are the same. I have the 0.72 magnification in both, and I use the 35 Summicron f2. So I have one camera. I guess I have two cameras, one lens now. But now the MP is my main camera, and M6 my backup camera. Also, right now the strap that I'm using is the custom SLR strap. So, and it's really nice because after shooting for an entire day, if you put the strap, just a regular strap around your neck, it kind of chafes. But this is, made out of this nice little stretchy neoprene, which is quite comfortable. You can just harness it over your neck like so, and when you're just walking on the streets, it just hangs by your side. And usually when I'm walking, I'll just kind of hold it by my side and I'm walking so it doesn't, bounce around too much. And once you're about to take a photo, you just hold it. And I've got the glide strap here, so I just glide and click. Glide and click. It's that easy. And yeah, you can see it's on the shoulder. And the funny thing is that it's titled Custom SLR, but I think that especially when I'm shooting street photography and I put my SF20 flash on, it actually does get quite heavy. So having this extra weight dispersed on my shoulder is easier for me than always carrying around my neck. So if you guys shoot with a Leica, definitely check it out. Or even if you have an SLR, I mean, these things are fantastic. I really like them a lot. Yeah, so pretty much bottom line. How do I say this? So they're the same camera more or less. If you take photos with both of them, you're not going to tell a difference. if you buy an M6, I highly recommend when you first buy it, get it CL8, clean, lubed, and adjust. If you're interested in buying a Leica M6, I highly recommend Bellamy Hunt, aka Japan Camera Hunter, my boy. And if you're a baller on a budget, aka you don't have a ton of money to spend, but you're trying to get you're budget minded, get the M6. If you shoot film really seriously and you want mechanical perfection, get the MP. And if you have the money for it, you should buy it as well. But if you haven't tried out, just start with the M6. If you shoot for it for several months, you really, really like it, and you want to upgrade, get the MP. But otherwise, both cameras, they're fantastic. And like Chase Jarvis says, the best camera you have is the one with you. So if anyone has any questions, thoughts, concerns, just leave it in the comments below, and I'll be able to answer as many as I can, hopefully. All right, peace out.